Peace and greetings, YouTubers. So, welcome to another edition of In the News. Can we jump into Ja Rule and 50 Cent? Ja Rule, what you doing, man? What's going on? I just want to know, is everything good? Because I woke up this morning and Ja Rule is over here just firing all kind of shots at 50 Cent, and I'm not sure exactly what triggered it. Now, Ja Rule said something about, like, he minds his business, but 50 Cent is always constantly coming at him or something like that. And after that, it just it launched a string of different tweets and everything like that. But I didn't see anything coming from 50 Cent. So if y'all know the backstory, please give me the origins of what has triggered this. But as I'm reading the tweets, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. There was one tweet where somebody had said, like, are you sure you want to do this? Don't you remember what happened last time? And see, I think they were referencing the fact that when 50 Cent and Ja Rule first had their beef in like 2002, 2003, 50 Cent won, at least commercially. You know what I mean? And I think that was because Ja Rule was having a really good run. Like, he was just racking out hits, just throwing hits out for days. But there comes a time where you sometimes get overexposed, and pop radio, in addition to like rap and hip-hop radio, was really eating up Ja Rule. So Ja Rule was at a point where like the white girls were playing him at like the Sweet 16 parties, and Ja Rule was the say-all be-all. So when 50 Cent came, and oh goodness, 50 Cent is this new rapper. Well, he'd been out for a while on the mixtape scene, but now he's he has some label support, and he's with Eminem, and he's in Aftermath, and this, that, and the third. It was like 50 Cent just came and cleaned house, especially with the beef. And so that's what that person was referencing. Ja Rule said, nah. He said, yeah, I remember, yeah. 50 Cent got beat up, stabbed, and shot. What do you remember? I'm just like, no. No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not going back to 2003. We're not going back to my middle high school years. It's just not, we're not doing it. Like, this is like when you have like a 20-year high school reunion and you see somebody that you were beefing with way back in 10th grade, and now you freaking like 38 years old and you trying to go and fight them over something that happened when y'all were 15. Like, that's what it looks like. Kind of reminds me of like one time I was in church and this guy was testifying. He was like, I have to just thank God for deliverance because I was at Target and I saw this guy at one time. He tried to rob me like 30 years ago, and I had the shotgun in the back of my car, and I was gonna go and I was just gonna shoot him. But the God in me, I was like, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. And I'm just like, wait, you got the shotgun? And mind you, he was telling the story like it just happened a week before. So I'm like, okay, so he's still riding with a shotgun in the car. Okay, all right, amen. And so it's like, that's what it looks like. You just sometimes let it go. And the thing about it is, I think this man's page might actually be hacked because he's been making a whole bunch of tweets. He's been just firing shots. Like, he's brought Vivica A. Fox into it. He has this, what else he got going? I don't know. He keeps saying tickle booty, some crap. And he's going to expose 50 and all kind of, I don't know, man. But I think his page might be hacked and it's somebody trolling. Like, that would make more sense. Because if this is really what this man is tweeting every 5-10 minutes, he kind of looks crazy. And the part that makes it funny is 50 Cent responded, but not to Ja Rule. 50 Cent just posted a tweet of his movie, The Den of Thieves that's coming out. So I'm like, that's the ultimate way to kind of get, to get blown out during some kind of battle. Like, you saying all this and firing shots and they don't even acknowledge you. That sucks. And so the thing is, Ja Rule was just getting to that place where people were starting to appreciate his music again. Because I always say, even when you've had a really great run and you fall off, and he fell off hard too. Y'all just cut him off. And it's kind of crazy because, I mean, he was throwing out hits every 5 minutes. But when you fall off, over time, eventually people start to appreciate your music again, or they appreciate the accolades. And, I know he was on tour with Ashanti. And so that's why I thought he was trending. I thought like maybe they did like a Murder Inc. Reunion, and maybe he found like Vita and Charlie Baltimore and all of them, and they had like a big show, and that's what was trending. No, this fool up here fighting with 50 Cent. But the thing is, like, Ja was just at that point where people appreciated his music again. I would always see tweets like, oh, Ashanti and Ja Rule, they were like relationship goals, and I can't be in a relationship with a woman if I start singing like, always on time and she don't know the verse, then we can't be a couple. I started seeing all that a lot. People really like, appreciating what it was he contributed. But when you go and you do like silly things like that, automatically those old wounds of like a 2003 rap beef come right back out again, and you look silly. Because honestly, 50 Cent fell off musically too, because he started that crap with Kanye and had the whole battle and, let's release our albums on the same day and look who won. But the thing is, 50 Cent kind of went in another direction, and he started using his business model. So he got like the vitamin water deal for like $200 million, and he has Power, and he has the movies and stuff like that. And I think Ja, he has a few things going on as well, but it's kind of like, this rap beef is done. We're not going back to this. It's done. And y'all talking about shooting and stabbing. No, you sound like the OGs at the barbershop that are like 50 and 60 that hang outside the barbershop still trying to fight. Like, you look silly, okay? I got a few cousins that are like that are still fighting. You know, they like 65, still trying to fight. I'm like, what you fighting for? Enjoy life. Sit down. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know, when you reach a certain age, you just look silly when you start beefing. Kind of like how Aretha Franklin always looks because she, you know, she don't like nobody. And she always beefing with everybody. It reminds me of, like, I don't know. I remember my grandma when she was still alive. Like, in her later years, she got, like, really sick. But she was, like, 70-something. And so my younger brother was still always doing some stuff. So she would still be trying to whip my little brother. But my little brother was, like, 10 or 11. And so my grandma would be in her chair. And, you know, she'd have the belt shaking everything. And she'd try to swing and hit him. And, you know, my brother being such a punk, you know, he could have just let the nice old lady hit him so she could feel good about herself and feel complete in life. He wants to dodge him. Nope, nope, whoop, whoop, whoop. And we used to be like, Marcus, just please let grandma hit you so she can feel good. You're going to go to hell. And like, no, but he would like be dodging and doing backflips and stuff and running. And then he would laugh. And I was like, man, it just made my grandma look so silly. And I'd be like, Marcus, you are, I used to be so mad at him. That used to be so funny. But that's what it looks like. Just let it go. At this point, y'all are distinguished in the industry. People kind of, I don't know, they appreciate what you've contributed. So use that to do better. Anyway, let's move on from them too. I ain't got time. That's funny. Y'all let me know what happens because I'm not going to keep following this. Monique, this is an interesting one. She's calling for a boycott of Netflix. And the backstory is, and she released a video, and I've seen it posted on a bunch of different blog sites and stuff too. She pretty much released a statement where she said, you know, she was in talks to do a comedy special with Netflix, and they were going to pay her $500,000. But then she found out, you know, acts like Amy Schumer got like $11 million, and then actually ended up getting more. And then I think Chris Rock got, wait, Chris Rock ain't got a special. Who else got one? Oh, Chris Rock, if he has one, I think it's still in the works. It hasn't come out yet, but I know he has something coming, I think. And then like the Dave Chappelle and all these different comedians are making, you know, 11 and $20 million. And so she was saying like she believes she should get that as well. And so she went back to the negotiating table, and they were kind of like, you know, they weren't really trying to budge. And so she's calling for pretty much black people and fans of her to support her by boycotting Netflix. Here's my 2 cents, and some of you may not agree with me. I'll say this. Monique is a pioneer in comedy. She's had a great career. And I definitely believe Monique is definitely worth more than $500,000. However, if you're trying to get an entire demographic of people to boycott something that has become routine in everybody's life like Netflix, then you have to really have a lot of pull. And when I say pull, I think if she's really trying to make this happen, she has to go find 10, 11, 12 other black entertainers who have been in the same boat, and Netflix has done the same thing to them, because people are not going to go out of their way and boycott something like Netflix, because one, on top of that, Monique hasn't been in the spotlight like that. I know she's had Blackbird the movie, I know she did the Christmas movie that Will Packard produced, but other than that, a lot of people haven't really seen Monique in recent years, and it's more so because she's kind of blacklisted by Hollywood, because, you know, everything that happened with the Precious movie and Lee Daniels. And by the way, I am 100% Team Monique when it comes to her beef with Lee Daniels and everything that was happening with Precious and how she kind of got blacklisted. I am 100% on her team with that. But the thing is, once you go against a machine, you have to understand that you can't try to jump back into that system that machine operates with and then assume that you will still be given certain privileges. And so when you talk about Hollywood, Hollywood is a machine. Now, Netflix isn't technically Hollywood. It's more of its own private company that has now infiltrated Hollywood and carries just as much influence as the films in Hollywood. But all that is one big machine. And because I don't want to say she's burned bridges, but people have chosen not to work with her because she's outspoken about the injustices in the film industry. And she's very right about pretty much all of them. But that industry is a machine, and it's like a good old boys club. And she's not in that club anymore. They pushed her out of it. And so by her wanting to, you know, call attention to something like what's going on with Netflix, it's like, okay, you already kind of closed the door on Hollywood, and so now Netflix, which could have been a great opportunity, you've closed the door on that as well. If I were her, I would have taken the deal, even though $500,000 is some bullshit, fine, I'll take the $500,000, but I would have done a kick-ass show. Like, if I was Monique, I would have done the dopest show and used that show, and because people would have watched it. People would have gone to Netflix and said, oh, Monique's on, let's watch her. Because people like Monique. People liked her from the Parkers. People think she's funny. It's just she hasn't been in the industry as much. She has a really great podcast with her husband, and yeah, sometimes I see what she's doing with the whole exercise thing on the internet, but people would have watched it, and it's like the buzz that she could have gotten from the Netflix deal that she could have done that could have opened more doors for something bigger. Then you can go back to the drawing board and say, okay, I think I deserve this much money. Because thinking as an exec from somebody like Netflix, they're not going to give Monique 11 or $20 million in 2018 because Monique, there hasn't been a lot that she's done in the last few years. Even though she has that great resume, they're not looking at it that way. And unfortunately, it's the way that that system works. And it's like you have to play the game, which is some BS, but in order, you know, if you're going to challenge the system, you can't try to play in it at the same time. You can't expect that system to benefit you if you're going to challenge it. So it's like either you play the game that they're putting you in and you play it and then you master that system and kick behind and then call the shots in the long run, or you just totally choose not to be associated with that and do your own thing. But by her boycotting Netflix and calling everybody else to do it, it's closing more doors for her. And it sucks because I don't, like, Monique is definitely worth more than $500,000. That's some BS. Like, I'd be pissed if I was Monique. And I understand why she's mad. But it's like, instead of calling everybody to boycott, I don't know. I just would have done something different. I probably would have taken that deal, or maybe we would have tried to negotiate for like $2 million. And then go from there. Like, okay, give me $2 million. If I can give you the revenue that you're asking for, then I think we should renegotiate. And the next special, I should get this. I just think that by going against, you know, everybody, it's working against her. And unfortunately, like, as I'm looking at the comments on some of the blog sites and stuff, it's like a lot of people are not on her side with this one. They're laughing at her, and I feel bad. But it's kind of like, you got to understand, like, when you're in a certain system, you have to master how that system works. You learn the tricks of the game, and then you use that to work to your advantage. I tell this to the teenagers I work with all the time. Like, when it comes to school and academics, I always tell them, like, you know, getting good grades does not mean you're the smartest person in the room. It just means you know how to master whatever system you've been put into. You've learned to master the rules and the tricks that somebody's put in front of you, and you've learned to use them to your advantage. And so I always tell them, like, you know, getting straight A's does not mean you're smarter than somebody off the block who has, you know, a C average or anything like that. Because it's more so you just learn how to play the game correctly. That doesn't mean you're smarter than the next person. And it's the same thing with Hollywood. You know, Hollywood and film and even the music industry, it's all one big man-eat-man, dog-eat-dog kind of world. And so it's like you have to get on top of things before they get to you, and you have to definitely understand, you know, the rules that are in play, and you use them to your advantage. So Monique, I think, has an opportunity to definitely revitalize her career, but I think she's kind of fallen off by choice. But, you know, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think people are going to support the boycott. I don't see it. A lot of people, Netflix is so common for people. And then to make another argument, when you have things like, you know, Will Smith, you know, them spending $90 million on his movie. And then I just read that Shonda Rhimes just had a 9-figure deal with Netflix. So it's not even, if you want to pull in the argument that there's definitely an issue with racism, which there probably is, it doesn't help that you have so many other examples of people who are black content creators that are doing well with Netflix. And there's a lot of content on Netflix that, you know, there's a lot going on. So it's kind of a gray area for Monique. So we'll see what happens with that. How much time I got? I've been talking for a long time. All right, let me wrap this up. These pods. Okay, I keep seeing these stories of all these people poisoned, you know, dying and getting sick because they're eating the laundry detergent and the dish detergent pods. Is this a real thing? Are people really doing this? I just want to know. Like, I thought it was a joke, but okay, if y'all are, then y'all stupid, and I don't feel bad for you. So if you die because you're doing the pod challenge, don't expect me to feel bad for you. Do not send me a GoFundMe link. Tell your family don't send me a GoFundMe link. I'm not giving your family $5 for your funeral. You just stupid. So that is what it is. Like, I don't understand. The thing that gets me is people are so pressed to go viral for literally anything. It's like, when it gets to the point where you're putting yourself in danger so you can get a few thousand views and a few likes and maybe get one video that hits 1 million views, you look stupid. And at the end of the day, like, it's 15 minutes of fame. You'll be famous for that BS, but whatever else that you're trying to be, I guess, successful for or famous with, it doesn't get you anywhere. You know what I mean? And, like, sometimes people will come after me sometimes and be like, you know, this channel is very, like, political. I'm not really trying to be a YouTube star. I just say what's on my mind, and then I go and I work my wonderful job, and then, you know, if I don't feel like doing that, I'll go do my music, or if I don't feel like doing that, I'll go back to doing my comedy, or I'll do my, like, I have a million other things that I'm doing. So if YouTube is a bust, I'm good. I'm not losing sleep. But sometimes people are like, man, you only got like 9,000 subscribers, man, shut up. And I'm like, that's cool, but yeah, I mean, mine never went anywhere. Like, mine stayed, and I just have like a consistent audience, so I'm good. I'm not losing any sleep. So I don't have to get up every day and try to do a prank or do some nonsense every day to try to keep people watching, because people like the content that I have on here. So it's good. And so it's kind of like this pod thing. I don't get it. Y'all, I don't know. Quavo's got a lot of flack. Quavo from Migos, I guess there's a song they don't like that he said a line, something about he doesn't, I guess, mess with queers or something like that. And so people think it's very homophobic. My only 2 cents I'll say is, in this day and age where everybody is more analytical about everything, especially on social media, when you are an entertainer or when you're somebody who's a public figure and you're doing things for the masses, you're just going to have to be very careful about what you're putting out there. You have to think about the context of everything. You know what I mean? Even when you, because he was saying that wasn't his intention. He was saying, he was using the word queer as a term to mean like somebody strange or somebody indifferent. And so that was his, you know, that's his recollection of everything. But when you work in an industry, especially like hip-hop music, you know, hip-hop and like homophobia go hand in hand. It's like bread, beans, and rice. They just run together. So, you know, it's, I can see why some people are outraged, and I can see why some people think it's not even that deep. But my thing is, listen, when you're an entertainer, you're just going to have to understand that when you put certain statements out there, you have to think of the context of everything. You have to think about how is that going to be relayed to everybody, and how is everybody going to receive the message that you're putting out. You know, it is what it is. Okay, dang, this is a lot. Somebody was talking about the racist girl from the little college in Alabama. You know, she made like the video, and you know, she said a whole bunch of stuff about Martin Luther King Day and niggers this and blah blah blah. And now she's kicked out of school, and people wanted my 2 cents. I don't have a 2 cents on it. Like, literally, there's always a video every week of some white person saying something racist about black people. Then they get in trouble, and then they do a woe is me, I'm so sorry, I have black friends. I learned the first half of the I have a dream speech, and, you know, I only drink chocolate milk. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, literally, first of all, I'm not worried about the girl, because one, if you look at her, she don't even have lips. So I don't worry about people who don't have lips, because they can't keep their mouth shut anyway. So that's on her. She messed up her college career, because some people were like, was it that deep, was it that serious? The thing is, a university, when they take these students in, they want people who represent them in the best light. So even though some people may think calling black people the N-word is not that serious and it wasn't worth her losing her, you know, collegiate career, the thing is, if the university feels that she's not a best representation for them, then they're going to get rid of her. It is what it is. Do I feel bad for her? Absolutely freaking not. That's exactly what you get. She was probably a part of that 53% anyway, so go ahead and enjoy, you know, go do well in this Trump world without you know, your education. You didn't spend all that money going to school and now you have nothing to show for it. Have fun. Sorry, Rebecca. It is what it is. I'm gonna wrap this up. Somebody was asking me, Justin Timberlake and Janet with this Super Bowl. Justin said his 2 cents about everything. He said that him and Janet are cool, and they're saying like, is it a good idea for Janet to join him on stage? Yeah, don't care. But I think it would be stupid for Janet to join him on stage. Like, cause listen, if the performance sucks, she's still gonna be the one to get blamed for it. So Janet, let it go. I don't think Janet has talked to Justin Timberlake since all that happened anyway. I low-key think he's kind of lying. I don't think they're friends. I don't think his definition of them resolving it, I think that just means they were like, let's just not ever talk again. That's what I think. And the last thing, people are talking about Donald Trump paying off this porn star that he slept with. Who cares? Because at this point, he has 19 other women accusing him of sexual assault and rape and everything else like that, and y'all didn't do nothing about it. So I don't know how you expect people to be outraged about him sleeping and cheating on his wife. We already knew he was doing that. He said that himself. So at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it. I'm not pressed. I'm not losing sleep over it. But that is all for today in the news. Be sure to subscribe. I will be giving you guys information about the podcast I was talking about for February. I'll have that information really soon. Anyway, I'm out. Share your 2 cents. Y'all, give me the scoop on this 50 and Ja Rule thing, the origin of it. Anyway, I'm out.